Is knowing Brady's medical history important to the rest of us?
This isn't specifically about Brady.
Okay.
This is more
because I am
about,
confused on this one.
This is more about the franchise in which he plays for. Because if it is true that Brady was suffering from some sort of concussion, if it's true that he told his team that, and if it's true that his team didn't relay that information out, that, to me, is the issue. It's not necessarily Tom Brady disclosing it. It's whether or not the New England Patriots knew that and chose not to disclose it. That, to me, is, I think, is part of the protocol that Bob Lee is talking about. Not that I'm anybody's Bob Lee.
Well, look, I mean, I love me some Bob Lee, but he's dead wrong on this one. It's
Why?
not.
I disagree.
First of all, I'm going to tell you, like my teammate said, if you want something, get it with your muscle. I am Tom Brady. I know what's wrong with Tom Brady. I don't have to help Bob Lee or anybody else out there know what's wrong with me because I already know. So what you're saying is you want to extrapolate it and take it to a bigger place, which is the team issue. Here's the thing. Did he check every single box in terms of team protocol? It seems that way. I have not done investigation.
No, because isn't Wes Welker, this is the thing where we find out after the fact that perhaps maybe protocol
I understand the
was not
skepticism
100%.
because of the track record, but let's not be irresponsible and say this is occurring because guess what? Tom Brady was sitting there and they have sat players before with concussions, and so therefore why would we make the assumption in this situation? If I'm Tom Brady, I sit there and say, I know what's wrong with me. My doctors know what's wrong with me. If you don't know, tough luck.
Do you think Giselle made up a story about him having a concussion last season? Do you think she made it up? No, so he had a concussion is what you're saying, right?
No, I'm saying maybe Giselle doesn't know all the symptoms of what a concussion is. A headache doesn't mean you have a concussion.
Maybe Giselle
because you don't want to get out of bed.
She shouldn't say that because she's not so clear on the policies and lists in the NFL as the rest of the players are. I believe what LZ believes, which is something that I don't know as a fact, that he did have a concussion. Giselle accidentally aired that out, and he probably told his colleagues and team about that concussion, and they probably kept it quiet so he could start one game. And the problem with this, going macro on it, is if you do not report these things, we do not know they occur. We do not know the frequency with which quarterbacks get these things, so then we cannot help to diagnose and solve this problem.
Let's go to the gray area, because you've been concussed many a times. You told me before.
Yes, I have.
Okay, we know, look, I've been concussed 4 times, for real, like knocked out. Knocked out.
I think everyone has.
That's not the conversation. The conversation is, hey, Jacoby, did you have a concussion yesterday? Well, I was dizzy. Well, I had a headache. Well, I was sensitive.
You know the headaches. You know if you're
No, but that's the point. Every single player I've ever talked to says, I've been knocked out, and then I've been concussed, which is maybe she thought he was concussed, but he really wasn't.
You know that you are supposed to report every single concussion. And you know when you're...
But you know that you even said you had reported concussions, and then a lot of times dangerous.
But the issue is his response.
Who has the bigger incentive to lie here? The wife or the team that employs him and needs him on the field?
Oh, it's not about the incentives. It's about the misdiagnosis.
Well, no, but I'm saying...
My wife sees me...
You just acknowledged that he had one last year, but it was not listed as a concussion.
No, if my wife says, hey, you're not getting out of bed, you're sensitive to light, you got a headache, you're concussed. But that's not necessarily
the don't we agree that there's a gray area with concussion?
But it's Tom Brady's response to that question that's the issue. If he had said, I told my team, we diagnosed it, it wasn't concussion, my wife was mistaken. That's not what he said. He said, it's none of your business. You know what that means? That means I don't want to say anything else to further incriminate or cause even further dignity.
Why are we so skeptical? PR 101
Why are we so skeptical? Journalism requires that we become skeptical.
PR 101 also, from the player's perspective, says if there is a firestorm, say nothing. You don't go out there and add fuel to the fire so that you now piece apart what he's going to say in response.
That can be true.
That is true. That's what he did.
It's my job to report there's a fire. Your job is to deny it. My job is to report it.
But
so
he didn't deny it.
He
said it's none of your business. And I would argue that that's actually adding fuel because now everyone's like, what do you mean it's none of our business?
It is actually our business.
So what if he says no comment? Then you guys going to jump on that and say, oh, he has nothing to say.
But I do think that covers him a little more.
It's a no-win situation. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I feel like
there is a win situation. You can be truthful the first time and not cause us to actually dig up even more.
Oh, well.
He got so mad, Giselle, after that interview. He got so mad.
All right.
Giselle, you keep talking.
Yes, girl.